What's up, everybody? Shelby here at Taylor Automotive Performance. Haven't seen you guys in a while, but I'm excited to tell you all kinds of new stuff. But first, we have something really awesome that's going on this old car, which if you guys have followed me, you know what that is. We're going to install the Cybul Radical Solutions drift lock kit for the E36. They make it for E46, E30s, E36s, and I'm super excited to have an angle kit. I've never had a legit angle kit. I just had the E46 arms, the non-M arms, which have the less caster than the 330 arms and stuff, but just E46 arms and the little knuckle adapters off eBay that everyone knows so well. We'll show you what kind of angle we're working with right now. Alright, here's the current angle. Not bad. I mean, for that little knuckle adapter and some E46 arms. Alright. It's pretty good. It's been a good little setup for a while, but it's time to upgrade. So here is the Cybul Radical Solutions kit. We got some beefy arms. Look at these things. Solid steel. I'm a little concerned if I hit something really hard that this could damage the subframe, but at the same time I never plan on hitting anything that hard, hopefully. So I've also, on the flip side, seen where guys with WiseFab arms have cracked them or snapped them. I believe they're aluminum, kind of the same webbing on them, but definitely looks durable. We got these custom tie rod ends, very long, obviously Hyman joints everywhere. Adjustable stoppers with 2 different pickup points for them. And so we'll see. I think they advertised 65 degrees or 70 degrees, something like that. So we'll find out. These polyurethane bushings. Also comes with a adjustable top hat. I'm still figuring out if I got these set up right. But for now we're just going to install the arms. But these are supposed to add more caster. Alright, so here's a quick little look at what I had. Had these little billet blocks from, wow, it's terrible quality. Billet blocks off the old eBay. I had to grind the clearance them for the bottom of that coilover. Yeah, not ideal stuff. And I also notched, man, look at that glare. Also notched this arm. So that the tie rod would kind of fall into the arm a little bit. See here. Anyway, but I think that creates over centering, which is not good. Easy way to tear up your rack and your tie rod ends and ball joints and stuff. So it's probably why my ball joint shot on the passenger side. So anyway, if you haven't taken off your control arms before, you got to get to that ball joint nut right there, which mine is crammed under the coilover, so I might have to disconnect the coilover. Anyway, disconnect that there. You gotta take out this ball joint. Alright, you gotta take off this ball joint on the inside of the front of the front subframe. There you go. I believe it's a 22. And we'll take it out of the SLR thing. There goes my camber kit. Alright, so what fell out was some thick washers, and the reason I have those in there is to add a little bit of extra camber. Put them between the coilover and the back of the knuckle, and it creates this kind of effect, you know, adds camber. Anyway, if you do that, definitely get a longer bolt so you don't have not enough thread holding it all together, and probably use some Loctite. Anyway, so that's how I got a little bit more camber out of it. I only put 3 washers in there, you know, so it's not going to add a ton of camber, but helps a little bit. Alright, before you hammer out the tie rod end, loosen this up, because after you hammer this out, it'll just spin around and life's gonna suck. Just keep it on there, and then you can crack this loose, because we'll have to take off this outer tie rod end.
Okay.
That's the old steering kit, E36 30%. Been a pretty good little setup. You see where I had to like kind of grind this down. Probably kind of sketchy, but been a great little setup. Time to use something actually professionally made for a change. Alright, I'm gonna put this back in here so that the knuckles held up, so I don't have to like zip tie it up or anything like that. I'm just gonna put a bolt back in there.
Okay.
If your sway bar is connected to the control arm, like mine is right here, you're gonna have to disconnect it. If yours is connected with a, you know, shaft up here and it's connected up here on the coilover, you don't need to disconnect it. If your ball joint is having a hard time come out, flip the knuckle forward that way and give it a couple smacks right there really good. Should pop out. Go ahead and record it. Alright, stop it. If you don't care about the ball joint, the boot on the ball joint, you can use pickle fork, and this ought to be a little bit quicker. Alright, we got a bungee cord on the knuckle up to the bash bar. Works great. If you don't have one, you're screwed. Do that to get it out the way. Now we can work on just the control arm and tie rod ends. Both of my control arms are shot. I've had these on the car for probably 8 years, 6 or 8 years, and so all the boots are torn, and the ball joint on the passenger side is super loose. But anyway, we'll go ahead and take off this tie rod end, and I'm going to count the turns, although I don't think it's going to matter because these are 2 different tie rod ends. We'll probably just have to kind of eyeball it for now. But yep, we'll take this off. We got a 24, I believe, up on the top side of the control arm here, and then we can slide it out of the lollipop over there. All right, note to self: You should probably give this a couple turns while this is still hooked up to the knuckle. That way you can break it loose without it spinning on you. In this case, I'm going to have to hit it with some PB Blaster because it's very rusty. This is a Z3 rack I got from the junkyard a couple months ago. So there's no telling how long it's been sitting, but definitely got some rust on there. So we'll let that soak for now. Alright, to take off the inner ball joint, you follow the control arm there. It comes out on the top side of the subframe. Grab it. Alright, so back to this pickle fork deal. Again, we got new arms. I don't care about these. Alright, we'll take out this lollipop. There's your control arm. So when they send you the steering angle kit, which by the way came super fast, it comes with these instructions, which is more of just a diagram than instructions really. But they're in Polish, so unless you know Polish, you're probably not going to be able to read it. But it's kind of self-explanatory. You know, just look at the part and see if it makes sense, I guess. That's what I did. And it looks like it's right. I guess we'll really find out when we go to install it right now. But first we got to press out these old AKG E46 bushings I had in the stock E36 lollipop. So we're going to put in these kind of look just like a stock E36 but polyurethane. So we're going to put those in first and then we'll get back to installing the arm. There's probably some nice technical way to press this, but it's actually pretty easy just to push in. I'm just going to tap it the rest of the way. Bingo!
Okay.
Alright, so if you can't make out what's going on here, I'll give you a chance to look at the way I have it set up because I believe this is correct. Okay, so this front piece is going to go into the pickup point of the factory tie rod end in the knuckle. This piece actually I think they sent me as the wrong thread, so I'm going to have to go to the hardware store and get that, but no biggie. And then you got these collars for the heim joint on the tie rod end. That bolt goes through there. And then obviously a heim joint coming off the control arm. You got this huge, I don't even know what you'd call that, but center pin. Big nut goes on the bottom, collar on the bottom of that, knuckle, and this will go through the, knuckle adapter. This will go through the knuckle. Same thing, a little bit of lube on the, we'll put it on here, blah, blah, lube, 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 and then we'll put a little bit in here. Alright. Not too much because you don't want it to slide out. But you want enough for it to press in and probably stay lubricated for a little bit. Alright, so like when I first installed arms, I thought it would be a good idea to bolt this onto the car and then like use the car as the object to keep it straight. That's a waste of time, don't do that. Put this on the ground. You can even push it on the ground like this to get it started. Alright. Now once it gets bottomed out, you can use a socket. Make sure you don't have the weight on the ball joint. Alright. We're gonna keep all the weight on this arm. Gives you a big socket. Rubber mount so you don't fuck shit up. It's probably too far on there, but it's all right. We can always slide it back off. Let's put it on the car. All right, so since I had the SLR lollipops on there a little bit thicker than these, so I'm going to use the washers from the back behind my knuckle to kind of offset the length of the bolt. Get those started. So this adapter is going to go here. We are going to go ahead and see if we can bolt on this. So washer's got to go between this adapter and the knuckle end. I like how at least this hardware looks way beefier than that other stuff I had. I mean, all the quality of all this stuff looks a lot better than the other stuff. But alright, so looks like we got a little clearance issue here. Which isn't the end of the world. We're just gonna have to cut a little bit of this off, looks like. So let's go do that. Alright, grind down that corner off of that. Hit it with a little bit of Rust-Oleum. We looking good. It's nice and flush except for where I smacked it to get it out, but okay, cool. Alright, so here's how this goes on here. Nut, knuckle, washer, knuckle adapter, nut. Just got to tighten all that down. This bolt is in here for the outer tie rod in. On this side goes nut, knuckle adapter, control arm. After the control arm goes the spacer, and then the large nut on the bottom. All right, so I got the outer tie rod replaced with the one they supplied. Bolted in there, and here you go. It's a ton of angle. I mean, it's definitely probably about 70 degrees. The following wheel is a little bit less, so it's got some Ackerman. But yeah, that's an absolute ton of angle. It all fits well together. I've already adjusted the stops. I installed the other side too. So let's take a look at the other side, where that's at. Again, a ton of angle. See, it's not quite as much as the other side, but still a lot, you know. There's probably not much Ackerman involved, actually. It's not much less than the other side. So I got it so that this bolt and this tie rod end are right next to each other, and then that's where I have the stops adjusted to, so that they don't bind up and so that it doesn't over center. So as of now, where it's at, it comes off full lock perfectly fine. All right, so we're about to install the top hats, which gives your car a little bit more caster. Caster is now going to be adjustable. This slides forward and backwards. You also have a little bit of adjustability for camber here. With the two settings you can put this mount in at. So mine, right now, I'm just going to run it with the most camber it offers, which is still a lot less camber than it had, because initially your pickup point was here in the center of the strut mount, and now it's going to be moved outward of the car about 2 inches. So had a lot of camber before, so we're just kind of removing camber by adding it this way. And then for the caster adjustment, I'm just going to put it in the center to their default setting, which I got some little marks in there so you can see wherever you're at, but keeping it centered for now. Let's get to it. You're going to need to take the preload out of your spring so it doesn't come flying off when you take the nut off of the top hat right here. You take that off without taking a preload off the spring, you're going to be in for a good time. So we'll have to take that off after we take the whole coilover off, because the new top hat is going to replace our existing one here. All right, now we're going to break loose the preload adjustment. I already broke it loose, but this is what you got to do. And then by spinning this, you're taking off the preload. You're basically taking off the tension of the spring. That way we can take off that top nut without this spring blasting it off. Every manufacturer's got a different amount of preload. I think Fortune's is, once it makes contact, you do 2 full turns or something along those lines, but figure it out for your own manufacturer. And then we're gonna bust loose this guy here, which is your height adjustment. I'm gonna break it loose. I'm not gonna really mess with it much because I don't want to change the height yet. All right, I got a pull jack under the control arm, under a wooden block. If you don't have a pole jack and you don't have a live, use a floor jack. Put a floor jack, obviously your car will be on jack stands, put a floor jack under the arm to keep tension on it. And then you're gonna loosen your coilovers up on the top side. Alright, now that we loosen that top hat, we're going to go ahead and lower this down. See, our coilover is going to drop out. There we go. Alright, we're going to move this out the way and let it hang. Yep. We're going to break loose these camber adjustments so we can kind of slide the strut inwards a little bit, make it a little bit easier to get to.
Yeah, a fast lap here appeared based on what we saw in the heat of the day. And
Alright, got that off. Now we're loosening up the top hat nut there. And you got a hex head right there to hold it still while you remove that.
This kind of lets them check the transponder. The transponder, of course, is how we get the times on these cars. On the 40 hour around here.
Alright, so I somehow managed to break off the head of this hex head. Okay, thank you for zooming in and focusing. Anyway, that's going to be fun. Alright, now that top hat bolt is out, we're going to pull off this top hat. Okay, let's see here. Alright. So, seems pretty straightforward. Hopefully the bottom of this collar fits into this. Get a little bit slack in there. I think once it's tightened down, we'll be good. That goes there, and this is the provided one that they send to the top side. There we go. And now your strut's gonna, coilover's gonna sit on that. Yeah, it's tight once you snug it up. We got this piece bolted on. Moves nice and good. I'm gonna raise it back up so we can put this top hat back on the mount.
What's up, guys? It was interesting, Cletus.
Alright.
These drivers came here to run these Crown Vic.
Got the Cybul top hat in there. I just kind of push it into place.
Part of the show.
Alright, here's the finished product. I had actually lowered the passenger front assembly thinking that after adding the top hat and caster adjustment that it would raise the height. I didn't take in consideration that when you get wider control arms, your coilover goes from sitting like this to out at an angle, so it actually lowers your car by having the wider arms. So I didn't adjust the height on the driver's side at all. And I ended up having to come up about an inch on the passenger side just to clear stuff. But I would suggest you don't adjust your ride height. You're going to be monster trucking a little bit, and that kind of depends on what kind of over fenders you have. The over fenders I have don't stick out that much. The other thing you're going to run into is you're going to have to clearance the space behind the fender, because these wheels stick out a lot, as you can see, and I've already cut the fender so to try to make some clearance, but definitely have to clearance the back side of the wheel better. And these are really high offset, positive offset E90 wheels. I think they're like 17x8s, so gonna have to run a super skinny front tire. These are 225s. I'll probably stick with 225s, but on an 18. Yeah, so there you go. I'm going to lift it up to show you what the angle looks like. But you can see they stick out a lot past the rear. And I mean, I got over fenders in the rear already mounted. You can see the front sticks out much more than the rear. Definitely going to need some big over fenders for this kit. Alright, there we go. So you got a little bit of camber on the lead wheel, and looks like maybe a little bit of positive camber on the follow wheel. Of course, that's all going to be different when it's compressed, but you know, just look at that angle, the angle of the dangle there. Oh yeah, I'm excited about that. Yeah, definitely gonna have to clearance this some more because it rubs. You can see it already ripped up my side skirt there. Oh, we're rubbing on the other side. Anyways, you get it. Super excited to drive this thing. Try out the angle kit. Definitely need to hit alignment machine before. Alright guys, I appreciate you tuning in. That's going to be it for my install video. I want to thank Cybul Radical Solutions for shipping this kit super fast to me. And I'm super excited to give it a rip. I mean, it's a ton of angle, way more angle than I've ever had. And I'm hoping between the Z3 rack and this kit, I'm not going to have a dead spot in the center of the steering like I used to. So we'll see. Guys, go ahead and check out Cybul Radical Solutions at their Facebook page at Cybul Radical Solutions, or you can check them out on Instagram at Cybul_EU, or check their website out www.cybul.eu. They make parts for everything from E36s, E46s, MX-5 Miatas, Jeeps, trucks. They make lift kits, roll cage, safety equipment, pretty much anything you can think of. These guys make it. They ship super fast. Customer service is the best I've dealt with in a long time. So give them a like, follow, and don't forget to subscribe. Sleeper Beamer on YouTube, or check me out on Instagram, or check out Taylor Automotive Performance. It's our little shop here in Dallas. So anyway, until next time, peace.